Ladies, hope you all are having an incredible holiday so far. Let me know if you can hear me. Also, make sure you are typing below in the chat what you sell. What industry are you currently in, right? What industry are you currently in? Because I feel like, sometimes these trainings, I want to make sure that we can apply it to multiple industries. We sell in B2B, we sell in B2C. And regardless of what industry you're in, if you understand this, why you're asking the questions that you're asking, like, you are good to go. So let me make sure here. Perfect, that you can hear me. All right, hopefully this new microphone is working. So I wanted to talk about like a little bit of a secret, because so many times in a sales conversation, I feel like we've gone through so many trainings, or maybe we're like at the place where we're guessing. Okay, wait, now can you hear me? It says I muted myself. How beautiful. You guys hear me now? Let me know if you can hear me now. Yeah? All right, let's go. Okay, so let me repeat a little bit now. Sorry, guys. So again, drop your industry in here if with whatever you're selling, B2B, B2C. I was just talking a little bit briefly about what is going on in regards to, the holidays. Like, there's all this pressure on some of you ladies, and some of you guys who have been listening to you, you've been reaching out to me, and like there's a holiday pressure. Like, it's fine, but if there's pressure, sometimes you show up to a sales conversation and you sound like you're a little needy and a little desperate for a sale. Not only that, but if you don't know what you're doing and you're guessing, it doesn't leave a lot of certainty for yourself to know that you're going to get the sale. So there's a secret that I wanted to drop in with you guys. And we've had so many changes, so many cool stuff coming up over the past, month or two. This is the first live training that we've done in a month or two. And so I want to give you a lot of golden nuggets, but I also want to give you a couple of really cool things that we've done, little announcements as well, if that's okay. So first of all, for Black Friday, we didn't really do a huge thing, but for Cyber Monday, we gave away a $5,000 gift card that you could apply towards our Inner Circle program. So if you haven't gotten that gift card, please DM me or comment on here. For Instagram, you're going to DM me. But for Facebook, you can comment on this, just gift card, comment gift card, or DM me gift card. We'll make sure our team reaches out to you so that you can have that to where you can apply. You have to use it by the end of the year, okay? But it's a $5,000 gift card that you can use towards our Inner Circle program only, right? Our 6-month program, really giving you like the skills that you need in order for you to actually start making more money for 2024. So there's my little infomercial. I just feel really bad if you didn't know that. I want to make sure you get that. So we extended that for today. If anyone needs a gift card still, just message us. We'll give you a gift card. No worries. Okay. Secondly, is that we are re-recording our entire training portals. So excited. So I am flying to Miami on the 7th, 8th, and 9th, and the 10th. And we are re-recording everything in the studios and stuff down there. So we're really excited because it's going to position us in a way where we can do something really cool for this next year. I don't know if you guys know, but like my mission, my personal mission is to go to third world countries and to help, young women that don't have opportunities, women that are in bad relationships, or women that are, forced to join and do work in order to take care of their families, like in Latin America especially. I want to be able to like build a shelter down there and be able to help these women acquire more jobs. So we are going to be translating everything in Spanish, and we're going to be re-recording our entire trainings in Spanish to help a lot more people. So we're really, really excited for that. So keep that in mind coming in the next few months, and all the support that we can get, like just like send it our way, because we really want to make a huge impact in this world. So let's go straight into this. As a woman, for a woman in sales, you have a few different natural assets that are actually really beneficial for you, and you acquire these naturally. First of all is your ability to be a little bit more empathic. We're naturally wired to have more empathy. We're also naturally wired to be more nurturing, right? We're nurturers, right? So we're built, we're wired that way. Number 3, we're intuitive. We typically can pick up on stuff that most people don't pick up on, right? Like, have you ever noticed if your child or like a guy you were talking to is lying, you kind of like pick it up, right? You have that sixth sense. And then lastly, when you're listening to somebody, typically you are trying to understand. You're trying to make sense of what's going on in their mind. Now, these are really, really great skills to use in sales. And typically we have to train guys to be a little bit more sensitive to stuff, right? And guys, you learn, right? You know, as you're dating and as you start, being with somebody, typically you can kind of pick up on their like cues, like she said that she's fine, but she's really not fine. But it's something that you learn over time. You kind of like pick it up over time. So I want you ladies to start using these assets in a sales conversation to pick up on things that maybe you didn't realize that the prospect said or meant beforehand. When you are in a sales conversation, we're trying to do a couple different things. Number 1, we are always trying to disarm the prospect and make them feel safe that they want to talk to us. Prospects literally have 7 to 12 seconds to kind of look at you and say, like I can trust them, or like I'm out. That's literally it. 7 to 12 seconds. And if you can't disarm this person in 7 to 12 seconds, automatically, subconsciously in their mind, they think that you're not on their side. They think that you're trying to get them to, you're trying to get them to buy something from you, or you're trying to take advantage of them. And so in their mind, they're automatically putting up these walls in their head. They're like, nah, like I'm not about it. That's not what I want to do. Like, I'm not going to be here for you, any of those things. And so if you do not know how to get these people to feel disarmed and how to drop their guard, they're going to have their guard up the whole entire time. Number 2, if somebody has an objection, typically the objection is coming because you did something to trigger this person inside of the call. And that's hard because we have to take responsibility that anything that we say inside of a call can trigger this person not to buy from us. Anything from our tonality to the quality of our questions. If I'm talking too fast, if I start giving too much information, like so many things can cause this person to not want to buy from me, right? So I have all these things against me. Emotionally, having the holidays here, pressure there, emotionally not knowing, sometimes exactly what to do and having the uncertainty there. And then pressure from the client of if you don't know exactly what you're doing, you could be triggering resistance. And then you have all these objections, right? So you have a lot of stuff against you. And then one important thing to understand is that learning sales skills is something that you acquire and that you acquire over time. It's not like a one-day thing. Right? And mastery is the repetition of skill. And when you can practice over and over and over, and you start learning and you start acquiring these skills, you'll notice that you'll get objections less and less and less. You'll notice that people drop their guard and that they actually will lean into you and be curious about you and want to learn about you, because when you learn these skills, you'll be unlike any other salesperson that they have ever been able to experience. And I want this for you. I want you to be able to have this skill. So let's talk about how people normally approach sales calls. Typically, the average salesperson approaches a sales call, and there's 3 different types of sales calls, right? You have a cold sales call, which means that they don't know you from Adam, and you're just calling some random business or random person, and you're hoping that, they want to listen to you and not hang up on you. Number 2, an outbound sales call, which means that they came through maybe on an ad or a warm lead, and you're calling them back. They just don't know when you're calling, but they put their name, their phone number in somewhere, and you're calling. And then lastly, an inbound lead, which means that they've booked on your calendar, or maybe you had an SDR or somebody set up an appointment and now they're there showing up for a call, or you have a meeting, they're showing up to your office. So typically on a sales call with people that don't understand these skills and that trigger a lot of resistance, what do? They lead with a lot of enthusiasm. They try to build rapport by asking questions of like, oh my God, how are you? How's the weather today? If they're inbound. If they're warm and they're an outbound lead, typically what I see is that they're trying to get as much information as possible out before this person possibly hangs up on them. It could sound something like this, like, hey, Sally, this is Kayla, Hodges. And, the reason for my call is that you filled out some information online. I just had, I wanted to call you back. Like, is this still a good time? Something like that. Now, notice what am I doing? I sound really breathy. I sound like really rushed. And you're like, Kayla, you're over exaggerating. I'm absolutely not. I listen to call reviews all the time and I hear it just like this, right? People are like trying to rush, trying to get the information out as fast as possible. Or I hear a cold call that's like completely out the window where you say something like this, like, hey, Sally, I know you don't know me, but if you, like what I hear in the next 30 seconds, I'm going to tell you why I'm calling. And if you don't like it, like, I'll hang up on myself. Like, don't worry. And you think it sounds good because they listen to you for 30 seconds, but after the fact, they want nothing to do with you because you sound like a salesperson trying to sell them something. And I want to remove that entirely. We don't need to do that at all. So when we are caring and actually have some empathy, right, for the client or the prospect's experience when we call them, we could treat this a little bit differently. Having the empathy to actually care, to do this in a way that's not going to trigger resistance. Number 2, being able to actually put yourself in the prospect's shoes and be like, would I appreciate somebody talking to me like this? Number 3, getting them to be results-based thinking as fast as possible, because your prospects, the people that you're calling, they have problems. And you possibly have a solution that can solve these problems. So you have to ask yourself, why are these prospects not buying from you? And it's because you possibly don't have these skills yet to get them to calm down, right? So number 1, we're trying to have a little bit of empathy to understand where they would come from to make sure our approach doesn't trigger them. Number 2, we want to make sure we're always disarming. We're communicating in a way, in a tonality, in a feel that feels like they can drop their guard and trust us. Yes? And then number 3, we're committed to acquiring the skill because it's not going to happen overnight. So let's say, for example, somebody gets on my Zoom. It's an inbound call. They are on my Zoom. I know that they are coming to the call. They know that they're coming to the call. I want to make sure that they're results-based thinking as fast as humanly possible, right? As fast as humanly possible. So maybe, maybe I get on a call with somebody and they are a marketing agency, right? And they are looking to acquire leads, more leads. And I'm selling for a marketing agency that sells leads, okay? So I'm getting on the call with somebody and we're on a Zoom and I'm like, hey, Sally, can you see me? Can you hear me okay? Okay, great. It looks like you had booked on the calendar today about possibly getting, a higher quality type of lead, for your sales team so that, you can scale the business a little bit more. Is that right? And when you talk to, our team the other day, when you talked to Sarah, what did you really discuss that made you feel like you might need help with your lead generation? Right? I'm trying to understand their intent. Okay. If I was talking to somebody that was a warm lead, maybe I asked them something like, what prompted your attention to click on the ad in the first place, just so I can understand. What's important is I'm getting them to be disarmed. I'm telling them what this call is about. I'm getting them to be results-based thinking as fast as possible, and I'm trying to understand their intent. And then next, I'm going to frame the call. So let's do this one more time. Hey, Sally, can you see me? Can you hear me okay? Okay. It looks like you had booked this time on the calendar to, possibly look at getting a higher quality type of lead for your sales team so that they can start closing more and you could scale the business, right? When you talked to our team, Sarah, the other day, I guess, what did you guys discuss that caused you to even feel like you might need help with your lead generation in the first place? Yeah. And just to have a better understanding, really this first call is more for us to find out, what you're doing right now to generate leads and the results that you're getting to that compared to what you're wanting, and not just on like how much money you're wanting to make for the team, but making sure that your sales team doesn't have a high turnover rate, that they want to stay, that there's longevity there, just so I can understand what this gap even looks like to see if we can help. And towards the end of the call, if you feel like this might be what you're looking for, we can talk about possible next steps at that point. Would that help you? Now, what did you notice about my tone here, right? When you notice about my tone, does it sound like I'm in a very rushed sales process? Does it sound like that? Or does it sound like I'm thinking? Does it sound like I'm being cautious? Does it sound like I'm being inquisitive, that I'm curious? I want to get them to drop their guard. I'm trying to get them to be in a state where they're open to what I have to say. Let's try a different type of lead. Let's try a outbound lead for Let's try an outbound lead for insurance, right? Do I have any insurance people selling insurance in here? Let's say this person, they had a lead that was given to you. It might be a couple months old. It's an older lead for insurance. Maybe I would call them something like this, right? And I need to sound really confused because I'm trying to get them disarmed and I'm trying to get them to be curious, like who the heck is on this phone call? That's all I'm trying to get them to do, okay? Hey, Sally? Hi, who is this? Yeah, this is just Kayla. I'm not sure if you remember this or not. And you probably, already got a couple of calls about this, but it looks like you had possibly inquired about getting life insurance in place so that your family would be financially protected when something, was to happen to you. Did you find what you were looking for, or whatever ended up happening with that? Right now, what am I doing here? Hold on really fast. Sorry, I was watching Christmas movies in the next room. So what am I doing with that, right? I am at a place where I am trying to get them to drop their guard. And what are you going to get? You're going to get so many objections, even though I'm talking cool, calm, and collected. What's the biggest objection that you get? Oh, I'm busy. Can you call me back later? Right? Oh, I'm busy. Can you call me back later? So what happens when that? What happens when you get, oh, I'm busy. Can you call me back later? I mean, I could possibly, right? I want to get them to be disarmed. Well, possibly. I'm not sure if I'd be randomly available like that. What I could do, if it helps, is you can pull out your calendar and I could pull out mine, and that way we can book a time. That way you don't have to chase me down and vice versa. Would that help if I did that for you? Would that help you? It's all a game, and when you understand how to play this game, you're really going to be able to be in a position where you can actually help people. The biggest thing that I see with women in sales is that they don't know how to raise their status in people's minds. We like to people please. Oh, sure, I'll call you back later. Yeah, I'll do that. And then what are you doing? You're trying to call them back later and you never hear from them again. They block you. All of a sudden they ghost you and you're chasing. Like, sales is not a numbers game. And I know so many people think that it is, but it's really not. It is a skills game. It is a quality game. And I'd rather spend less time dialing and working my butt off and spending more time with my kid and more time like doing the things that I love because I've acquired the skills to be able to do so, rather than like trying, hoping and praying and wishing that something that I say today will help me get a skill, will help me get a sale. I'd rather not do that game. So it's up to you. Like, what game do you want to play? A numbers game where you're hoping, or a numbers game or a skill game where you don't have to work so hard? Somebody's asking on here, my biggest objection is either that I have to think about it or it's too expensive. So typically if you get, I need to think about it objection, there's something that you're saying in the call that's not allowing them to go deep enough in order to feel enough pain, that emotional driver, in order for them to want to change. So that's typically what happens. So I would have to listen to one of your calls, but it's probably earlier in the call, something's going on, something about you not understanding their situation fully, or them not understanding the magnitude of the pain if they stay with that situation, right? All sales is them wanting to change your situation. So if you can't get them to feel like what they're doing right now, staying there is more risky than them making some type of change and buying your product or service. Then you didn't get to ask the right questions for them to feel like that was necessary. They need to feel like it's more risky to do nothing than it would be to buy your product or service. Now, when it comes to money, right? If somebody says it's too expensive, you just have to ask for clarity, because too expensive could be something to you that could be something different to me, right? Two different things, like the other day it was Black Friday and I tried to buy like Fashion Nova and I spent like $900 on Fashion Nova and I felt like I was just like gonna throw up. I was like, oh my God, that's so much. And like, I have shoes that like cost like 2-3 times more than that, right? And so in my mind, the Fashion Nova just was stupid to spend money on that, And so different expensive means different things in people's minds, I think it's really important that you ask for clarity. Oh yeah, this is really expensive. Okay, yeah, that's not a problem. Can I ask, when you say it's expensive, you really have to slow down here, because if you talk too fast, they're like a deer in headlights. They'll run, they'll freak out. So just really slow down and breathe. When you say it's too expensive, can you walk me through what you mean by that, just so I have a little bit more clarity here? Well, we already allocated our budget this month for that. Ah, okay. No, I guess that makes more sense. Money aside, though, do you even feel like this can help you solve XYZ problem? Like, do you feel like this is the answer for you guys? Well, yes. Can I ask why, though? Why do you feel like that? And get them to tell me why they feel like that, because when they're telling me how they feel like that, who else are they telling? Themselves. They're telling themselves why they feel like that. So I'm getting them to tell me, and they're telling themselves why the heck they feel like that, right? So I'm getting them to go through that. Next, after that, then I can go into like a solution-based answer, right? Logistically handling it, and then afterwards handling any fear. Have you thought about ways that you can fund this so that you can be able to and then plug in the result that they're wanting? So let's say we're going back to that marketing client that was trying to get leads and they're telling me it's too expensive, right? And I said, money aside, you feel like this is the answer for what you're looking for. And they were like, well, yeah. I asked why. They're like, well, because we've been trying everything for, the past 6 months. And if we don't do something now, like the business can go under. Like, okay, well, have you even thought about ways where you can find the funding so that you can buy these leads so that you can start scaling your company and never worry about your company going under again? And they start thinking. I'm getting them to come up with the answer. I'm trying to get them to think, them to do the work, not me. I don't want to do all the work. They're like, well, I haven't really thought about it. Maybe we can move around this from this department. Sally, what I could do if it helps you is go over some of the other ways that our other clients have been able to find the funding. Like, would that help you? Right? Again, plugging in what they want, trying to get them to realize if they don't come up with this money, they don't get the solution, which is it's not a negotiable for them. They have to figure this out. They have to figure this out, right? Otherwise their company's going to go under. And so I go over the solutions. I go over the other ways that maybe our clients have been able to generate funds. They figured it out. And now we're going to, our next process from here is typically we, send an invoice, you pay, you fund it, and we do your onboarding. Like, is that appropriate, or where should we go from here? And go in for a close. Maybe they get a little scared. We're like, oh, well, I don't know. And now we start handling fear. Well, like, how are you going to be able to actually scale your company if you don't do something about this now? Right? Asking how questions. Like, there's so many tools in here. There's so many things that I can give you. There's so many things that I can show you, but it all doesn't happen overnight. It's learning the different phases of this, learning the right questions to ask, learning the tone, learning what to say no matter what, because people will throw curveballs at you, right? You're in the middle of a sale and somebody will throw a curveball at you and you just have to figure it out. So it's really important that you learn this, right? It's really important that you understand how to do this in a way that's going to change everything for you, and I really wish I could just do it for you guys. Like, again, I remember, I've never been always like the perfect mom. I've changed a lot of stuff in my life, but I remember a Christmas 4 years ago. My God. 4 years ago, I did not have my stuff together. I was a hot mess. And I remember I partied all night long for Christmas Eve. And I got to my mom's in Houston. I was like still awake from the day before. Okay. And I felt so guilty, so awful, like a horrible person, but I felt like I was escaping life. Like I didn't have purpose or anything else. And from being in that moment where I was like literally like at the worst moment in my life to being in a place right now where I feel like my cup is so full, where I can just pour and give to you guys and honor you and show up for you powerfully. It changes the trajectory of everything. Also, it changed the trajectory of my daughter's life because I was able to get my stuff together, be able to financially do amazing things for her and show up with her with just not only finances, but my time and give her my presence. And I really, really, truly believe that, money isn't everything, but acquiring skills and having money gives you a lot more options, gives you a lot more ability to do things that you didn't think that you could, gives you a lot more ability to create memories and to help with stuff and to do incredible things in your life. So, for this holiday season, how can you give back? How can you pour into the people around you? And how can you pour into yourself so that you can make a difference in other people's lives in the future, right? So again, this was all for today. I honor every single one of you for showing up for yourself. I am not single. Jeremy Miner is my boyfriend. And when it comes to, life, sorry, people are asking questions on here. When it comes to your life and what you want to do, like ask yourself, there's only less than a month left of this year. On December 31st, are you going to be proud of how you've been showing up? Or for the next 30 days, are you going to keep playing small? Because you're the only person that's going to come and rescue yourself. You're the only person that's going to show up powerfully for you. And if you're not going to do it, no one's going to do it for you. So if you want that gift card, again, a $5,000 gift card to our Inner Circle programs you can use towards the end of the year, just DM me that you want gift card and my team will reach out to you and make sure that we take care of you. I love you guys. I honor you. We will see you soon. I didn't read my message once. I'm reading it right now. I don't know. Sorry. 2 people, 1 body, 1 voices. Do I have 2 personalities when I'm speaking? I absolutely do. Yes, yes, yes. Seriously, seriously. I was waiting since the beginning. Oh my gosh, no. I'm reading all your messages now. What question do you have? How can I help you? I messaged like 8 times with the same thing. I'm just reading it. All right, guys. Hope they all have an amazing evening. I will see you very soon. We'll leave this one stream